I'll try to open the gate. You're no brother of mine, Gat. You killed Father Mother, you worthless cack.
Gonna bring you.
I'll kill you.
Great games like BioShock have shown us how far games have gone, but Zeno Clash shows us how far we have left to go. The imagination, ingenuity, and focus of Zeno Clash is undoubtedly the title's crowning points. It's something we don't see often enough in games. While many reviews of the game have built themselves around paragraphs celebrating the art direction and storytelling, there is still a game here that must be examined. Zeno Clash in play doesn't quite meet the pedigree of its production values, but it never gets in the way enough to mar what is an absolutely original title.
Here, I met Oxometer. Oxometer just walks in a straight line without letting anything change its path. And that's what Oxometer does.
Zeno Clash's story is best received with an open mind. Explaining the story in words alone will only come across as alien jargon, but I'll try my best. You play as Gat, who resides in the world of Xenozoic, who is the son of a sexless creature known as Father Mother. The game begins with Gat killing this entity, and the rest of the game has you dealing with both Gat's exile and his memories that predate the assassination. Between the world's strange set of rules and the story's non-linearity, the game is best experienced and explained.
He says hi. He wants to know where you're headed.
I need to find Father Mother.
Zeno Clash is one of the best looking games I've ever played, and not for the usual reasons. You won't see any advanced lighting effects here, but what Ace Team has delivered on is a world that is so abstract and wonderful that it often feels like you are living in a painting. Every little detail in the character models and locations is inspired and untraditionally thought-provoking. The game conveys as much emotion and information in its visual design as it does in its story. This is the first time I think I could ever say that about a game. One can state that the developers were working with such minuscule levels in a short game that it would of course appear more detailed than a Fallout 3 would. But that doesn't change the fact that you don't see games as richly textured and conceptually complex as this. You might not think it at first, but Zeno Clash is more or less the rebirth of old school beat-em-ups. Everything from all your favorite Konami arcade games is here, although with a more evolved combat system. You start every fight in an enclosed space, with nothing but your fist and maybe a gun or melee weapon to use. You can counter, block, and do some minor combos, but everything is pretty simple in concept. It takes a while for the combat to click, and you'll damn the game until it does. By the end, the game will throw some pretty nasty fights at you, but if you play them smart, you'll be able to handle it. The rest of the game is a linear adventure much like Half-Life 2's bigger set pieces. Variety is the key to any game that seeks to keep the player interested, and Ace Team is aware of this. Although you'll go through similar levels, there's always enough different to keep things feeling fresh. If there's ever a Criterion collection for games, Zeno Clash would be right up there between Eco and BioShock. Many players will get flustered with the game's combat, but the learning curve is worth seeing to its end. As good as the combat is, it will always be second to Zeno Clash's memorable story, that feeds on a vocabulary unfamiliar to games. Rather than making comparisons to Gears of War and Half-Life, my mind thinks up images of Salvador Dali paintings, or the films of René Laloux. Good gameplay deserves a higher standard of storytelling, and Zeno Clash serves as a good example as to why.